Hi everyone and welcome back to the Lewis Pickman Football Show. Something a little bit different today with it being International Week. My Championship, Brother v Brother and Fantasy will all be coming next week again, but I didn't want to go a full week without a video on my channel. So something, like I said, something a little bit different. I'm going to be reviewing the Premier League, the early season, seeing what teams are doing well, what players are doing well for each team, seeing what teams aren't doing very well, and then I'm going to do a little my team of the season so far, my best 11. So let's get into it. So let's get started with Arsenal on our early season review. Arsenal sit 11th, just been beat 3-0 at home by Aston Villa. I think I've really not looked into Arsenal so much. I thought Arteta was doing so good, won a couple of trophies and really improved them. But then when I look at the record and where they sit in the table, they sit 11th in the table, 4 wins, 4 losses. It just looks like same old Arsenal. Arsenal under Arteta moved to a 3-5-2 and it worked really well when Arteta first come into the club, but I think he's been a bit stubborn. Maybe he could change that. The person that's really suffering now is Aubameyang, playing from the left hand side. His goal record's always going to be okay because he's a great goal scorer, but I think maybe it's time to give Aubameyang a start up front. Maybe play 4-3-3, Saka one side, Willian the other, and Aubameyang up front. Lacazette and Nketiah are okay players, but they're not going to get you as many goals as Aubameyang would in the middle, through the middle. In my opinion, it's a really strange one. Arsenal fans, like I said, won 2 trophies, feel like they're really improving defensively. I think they have improved, apart from that shocker at home to Aston Villa. But then if you look at the ratings, the player ratings and stuff over the season, there's only one player who's averaged over a rating of 7. And that's Gabriel, the new sign. I think he's come in and done really well. He looks solid and he's took the Premier League really well. But yeah, apart from that, no great standout performances. It makes me think about Mesut Ozil. I'd love to know what goes on in the training ground and to not include him in certain squads, and basically he's just nothing to do with the club anymore, even though he's still in contract. After signing a couple of years ago, a massive contract as well. His attitude must be shocking in training. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, for me, maybe a change of formation. Aubameyang front, but 11th. It's been a poor start. It's been at Arsenal starting. It looks like they'll probably finish 7th or 6th or 7th or something. And for all everyone's Arteta's praising and stuff, it looks like same old Arsenal to me. But yeah, that's my review on Arsenal. And next up, definitely a change. What a start for Aston Villa. They've just been to Arsenal and won 3-0. Great courage. They won 5 on the bounce and you're thinking, bloody hell, where can they finish this season? And then they get beat 2 games at home and you're thinking, oh, either goal they're going to start sliding. Then they go to Arsenal and win 3-0. Beautiful. They've got 9 players on an average rating of over 7. That shows how good the start's been to the season. 9 players. Like I said, Arsenal only had 1. Arsenal have got over 9 players on an average rating of over 7. But the main player, Jack Grealish, 8.18 average rating over 7 Premier League games is absolutely outrageous. Grealish, Barkley and Watkins have been superb, and they're the 3 highest average ratings. Watkins come on and took to the Premier League like he's been there all his life. Absolutely flying. Another 2 away to Arsenal, and little shout for the England squad. Little shout maybe if he keeps going. You never know. But yeah, how high do you actually think Aston Villa could finish the season? Let me know in the comments below. Yeah, so they're sitting 6th in the Premier League, but they've got a game in hand. Obviously, their game in hand at the start of the season was postponed because of European football, because of the 2 Manchester clubs and Burnley. Yeah, and they sit 6th. If they were to win their game in hand, they'd go top of the league. How high do you think Aston Villa could finish? But little shout out again to Jack Grealish. Got to be starting for England. He's unbelievable. He creates so much. He's just so fluent in attack. So can see that pass, can see that shot. I think he's absolutely superb. Yeah, and well played to Aston Villa and Dean Smith. What a start to the season. I think we'll finish. I had them for relegation. I don't think that's going to be a possibility anymore. I think they'll finish mid-table, around 11th. I'm going to give them. Not as high as what they are, but not in the relegation battle. And now we move to Brighton. Graham Potter and Brighton, they sit 16th in the league with just 1 win out of the first 8 games. But you know me, I love Brighton, but I've watched them a few times this season, And every time I've watched them, they've been the better side. Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, they've been the better side every time I've watched them. They've only got one player. The two best players for Brighton in average ratings this season has been the two wing backs, Tariq Lamptey and Solly March. Solly March with an average rating of 7.04. He's the only player who's over 7, and Lamptey just below in 6.96. But it looks like if Brighton don't get their attacking fullbacks up the pitch, they find it hard to score. I think they could do with it. Like Trossard's been okay in the cam position, but I think they could really do with some pace up front and behind when they're on the counter attack and stuff. They haven't got that real soaring pace, and if it doesn't come from March and Lamptey, I think they really struggle. Like I said, they currently sit 16th, but I think the performances don't deserve that 1 win out of 8. I think Brighton will be fine just because I think there's worse teams below them, but I'm going to say like 15th, 16th, just an average. Stay up, but not setting the world alight for Brighton this season. And last but not least of these 4 teams, we move to Burnley. Sean Dyche currently sit 19th in the Premier League, 2 points and no wins from the first 7 games. Could this finally be the time that the Sean Dyche magic runs out and Burnley go back to the Championship? I mean, he's worked wonders. We all know he's worked wonders. Top half finishes with Burnley on a low budget. He's worked. Yeah, he's been unbelievable. There was obviously rumours about him leaving this summer, and he's decided to stay and stuff. But they haven't got no players who played more than 2 games over a 7. So it's just not looking good. They've had 3 home games, Southampton, Tottenham and Chelsea, and they've yet to score a goal at home. Southampton, Tottenham, Chelsea is not the easiest start. All teams are in the top 5 in the Premier League. But it's not like Burnley. Burnley are normally in games and scoring goals or like giving teams problems, and they haven't. Like I watched them against Chelsea at home. It was just a mismatch. Like Burnley just didn't have that fight and hunger that they normally have. Maybe it's the fans. Turf Moor's a really hard place to go, but without the fans, maybe teams are finding it easier to go there. But yeah, like I said, no players on over a 7 rating. Sean Dyche sit 19th in the league and no wins out of the first 7, just 2 points. I think they're really, really in danger of going down. I think they're going to go down 18th. Finally back in the Championship for Burnley. Right, now let's get on to the next 4. We start with Chelsea on these 4. Sitting 5th in the Premier League and the highest scorers with 20 goals in their 8 games. And just 1 defeat in the first 8. I think it's been a great start for Frank Lampard. A few ifs and buts, but now all the players are getting back fit. Their first 11 looks super strong. Little shout out to Ziyech, by the way. He's played against Sheffield United. His performance the other day, passing, moving, skill, delivery, honestly, I think if he stays fit, he's going to be Chelsea's player of the season. That's how much I rate him. The back 5 looks solid. He's picked the back 5 now, Lampard. He's settled on a back 5. Mendy, the keeper, I'm not too sure of, but I've only seen him play a few games. I don't think he's overly better than... I think Kepa got a hard stick, me. And then when you're under pressure, mistakes are obviously more likely to come about. But the back 4 he's settled. Reece James, Ben Chilwell as your full-back. Fair play to Reece James. He looks unbelievable, by the way. He's dislodged Azpilicueta, which didn't seem possible for anybody to do in Chelsea's defence, but he's made that position his own. Delivery, speed, pace, power. It looks like he could be England's right back in the Euros next year, and that's a big call, but he could be. And then Zuma and Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva's 36-year-old, being superb. Come in, free transfer. Even if you get a year out of him on a free transfer, great business. Chelsea have 9 players on a over 7.0 rating. Just shows they've started the season very well. The top of that list is Ben Chilwell. I think since he was injured at the start of the season, he's come in. He's been superb. Delivery, attacking, and like I said, the back 4, including Chilwell, has been superb. But yeah, last but not least as well, Werner's finally started, got his goal, and now he's gonna score 20 goals this season, easy in my opinion. But yeah, Chelsea will 100% finish in the top 4 this season, in my opinion. Can they push for the league? I think they can, but I think Liverpool are just a bit too strong for Chelsea. But you never know, because I think it's going to be more open this year. But yeah, good start for Chelsea, definitely in the top 4 this season. And now we move to Roy Hodgson, Crystal Palace. The sit 8th, it's been a great start for Roy Hodgson and Crystal Palace. I mean, you just got to look at one man. Wilfred Zaha drives that team forward. I've mentioned it in my other videos and stuff. But Palace have always played a 4-4-2, but they've played Wilf Zaha left midfield and he's had to do defensive duties and things. Now they play 4-4-2 with Wilf Zaha up front, in the 10 or just up front, and he can just go where he wants, he can just do what he wants, and he just dictates games. To have that sort of player for a team like Crystal Palace is just unbelievable. I mean, I know he went to Man United and it didn't work out for him, but I really do think he could play for a top 6 club. Sorry Palace fans, I just really think he could. But why he's here for you, you've got no chance of relegation if he stays fit and stuff. Looks like a mid-table finish. For me, at the start of the season, Palace is just, as long as we survive, it's fine. So anything above that is a bonus, and Roy Hodgson seems to get the best out of the Palace players. So fair play to Palace, and it looks like a survival this season. Little average rating again. The top of the list is Andros Townsend. A little bit surprised, just above Wilfred Zaha. But yeah, he started the season very well. Some goals and assists, so well done, Andros Townsend. And next up we move to Everton and Carlo Ancelotti. The first 5 games unbeaten, 4 wins and a draw on the top of the table. They just drew with Liverpool, and then Richarlison obviously gets sent off just in the last minute of the Liverpool game, and it's killed them. For me, Richarlison is by far Everton's most important player. Like, it's not even close. Calvert-Lewin's obviously scored the goals. Fair play to Calvert-Lewin. I'll shout him out. 8 goals in 8 games is an unbelievable start for the striker. But Everton on the counter attack and on the transition need pace, and Richarlison is that aggressive pace that gets him up the pitch, wins free kicks, wins headers, and then Calvert-Lewin can feed off him. And it's no surprise to me if you've watched my videos. The 3 games that Richarlison's been suspended, they've lost all 3 games. Southampton away, Newcastle away, and Man United at home. He's just so important. I think he could easily go and play for Barcelona and Real Madrid. I know there was jokes when they rejected Barcelona's £100 million bid, but if you think about it, he's only like 23, 24. He could go play at the top level for another 10 years, and he's got everything about him. Honestly, I really rate him. Left wing, right wing, up front, he can do everything. Head, score, both feet, and quick. But yeah, it's no surprise to me that they've lost the 3 games without Richarlison, and obviously he's back next week for the next game, and hopefully the form changes. This currently still sits 7th though. If Everton finished 7th, they'd be more than happy with that. They've got 3 players on an average rating of over 7.0 in the games that they've played so far this season. It's no surprise who they are. Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, top of that list is James Rodriguez. Been an absolute breath of fresh air for Everton. Delivery, just that killer pass that Everton have lacked in midfield over the years, and it's great to see him back to his best. And beautifully for Everton fans, he's at your club while he's back at his best. But yeah, great start, a bit of a bump, but I think Everton will be fine. 8th, 7th, somewhere around that. And last but not least, we move to Fulham and Scott Parker. The team from Craven Cottage sits 17th in the Premier League, above the relegation zone. I think, like what I've thought, Fulham had a bad start, like 1 win in 8, but they sit 17th, so they're above the relegation zone, and Scott Parker would absolutely snap your hands off for 17th. End the season now in Fulham 17th, they'd be over the moon. When I've watched Fulham this season, I've watched them against Sheffield United away. They drew 1-1, should have won the game. They were by far the better team. Wolves away, they got beat 1-0, by far the better team. Kind of like Brighton, they've been the better team and points haven't rewarded them. And then West Ham away, obviously. What can you say? Ademola Lookman, who's actually, he's top of the ratings. He's been Fulham's best player in the ratings this season, despite the horror show of that penalty. I mean, a point could be vital towards the end of the season. They concede 92nd, and you just think, oh, we didn't deserve that. We deserved a point, and then you get a stroke of luck with a penalty, a little trip, and just go get a point, and it could be vital, like I said, towards the end of the season. And then he dinks it. I mean, what can you say? It's just a mistake, isn't it? Like, when it goes in, he looks cracking, but I wonder if there's any Fulham fans who watch this, or Premier League fans or so. Mitrovic was on the pitch and he didn't take the penalty. He's been Fulham's penalty taker for the past 3 years. Obviously, we don't see the training ground, we don't see what happens, do you know what I mean? But I'd love to know why Mitrovic didn't take the penalty. It's a really strange one in my opinion. But yeah, all of all, 8 games in, doesn't matter. They've won 1 in 8, doesn't look great, but they've been the better team in some games, and they sit 17th. In the next 30 games, if Fulham have sat 17th, they'll be absolutely buzzing. Not for me. I think there's just teams below them who like Burnley and Sheffield United, who I think will finish above them. So it's relegation still for me for Fulham. Right, let's move on to the next form. We start with Leeds and Marcelo Bielsa. For all the plaudits and things that Leeds United have had this season, it actually hasn't been that great of a start of the season. Yeah, the brand of football, the pressing and things has been it's been a joy, a breath of fresh air, a joy to watch at times. But they sit 15th in the Premier League. They've got the worst defence also in the Premier League. They conceded 8 goals in the past 2 games, 4 and 4. Maybe teams have sussed Leeds out a bit. The press, and if they break that press, they're very vulnerable. If you break that press, like I said, maybe teams have worked Leeds out a bit already in 8 games of the season. That's not a good sign for Bielsa. I think they'll be okay as in relegation terms, but like after the start of the season, I thought bloody hell, they really could finish high. But I just don't see it anymore, especially with that leaky defence. You're always going to get a chance against Leeds United. And that's not a good sign. I think you need a bit of balance. You need to press and attack and things, but you've also got to keep goals out. And 8 goals in 2 games is not great. Like, no offence to Leicester and Crystal Palace, but they haven't got the attacking flair of Liverpool and Man City and Man United and things. And 8 goals, and Palace don't really score that many goals, and to go concede 4 there is a really, really poor result. Like I said, they sit 15th. I think that's around about where they'll finish. No relegation, but not setting the world alight anymore. Little shout out to Patrick Bamford. He's got 7 goals in 8 games, and he's finally getting a run at a chance in the Premier League, and he's taking it with both hands. So fair play to Patrick Bamford, and he's the highest average rating player as well. No surprise there. And now we move to the best team in the Premier League so far after 8 games. It's Leicester City, sit top, 6 wins from 8. Last 3 games they've went to Arsenal away, Leeds away and Wolves at home. They've won 3 games. They've won all 3 games, 9 points. Brendan Rodgers, the most underrated manager in world football. I don't care what anyone says. He's so underrated. Everywhere he's been, Liverpool nearly won the title. Went to Celtic. I know you can say, oh, Celtic's it's a farmers league and stuff, but won everything, won unbeaten, unbelievable. And he's went to Leicester. Yeah, apart from last season where they had a little bit of a bottle where they had a lot of injuries, people forget, he's been unbelievable. Jamie Vardy, just will he ever stop scoring? 8 goals, joined top again in 8 games, missed a penalty obviously against Wolves to go leading scorer going into the international break. But I want to shout out Nepandes, I'm not sure about his first name, but Mendy, centre midfield for Leicester. With Ndidi being out, he's come in and played that pivot, and he's been absolutely superb. He's been at Leicester for a while now, and he's never really got his chance, only in like cup games and stuff. But I think he's been superb. So I think it's right to shout him out. I think Harvey Barnes has come in and done well, and the other person I want to shout is James Justin. Ben Chilwell went away for a lot of money, and they signed him from Luton last season. The young fullback, and he's come in and played left back, right back, and he's been absolutely superb. So I want to shout out Justin as well. And no surprise, the average rating, the best player on the average rating, 7.46, Jamie Vardy. What a player. Gareth, get on the phone to win 1 more Euros, see if you can get it out of him. How high do I think Leicester can finish? I think if they finish top 6 again, it's another superb season for Brendan Rodgers. And now we move to the champions. Liverpool currently sit 3rd in the league. For all they haven't played great, they haven't been at the free-flowing best. They've had 1 clean sheet in 8 games. They've conceded the 2nd most in the league. For all these stats and that, the 6th joint 2nd in the league, 17 points, 1 point behind Leicester. It's not the worst start you've ever seen, is it? Van Dijk, obviously we need to talk about Van Dijk. It's a huge loss. It's a huge loss for any team. He's the best centre-half in the world. Any team losing. But then to lose Fabinho as well, who I think's probably Liverpool's most, like, apart from the front 3, their 2nd most important player. That he plays that pivot, and he's been superb at centre-half, and then he got injured. But yeah, Liverpool have been not at the free-flowing best, but the ground results out, and that's for me the sign of champions, and that's for me why they'll probably go on and win the league. Little shout out to Diogo Jota. That front 3 has been impenetrable. Shaqiri's been good, Origi's been good, but no one's ever got close to penetrating. 8 games into the Premier League season, and they go to Man City on the 8th game, and he's in the team. He's made Klopp change his formation just to get him in. That's how good he's been. I think it's credit to himself to go into a huge club like Liverpool with that front 3 and go in and have the impact that he's made. So fair play to Diogo Jota. he looks like he could go on to be anything that he wants in the Premier League. And just the average rating, little 2 players, no defenders, over 7.0. Mane and Salah very close. Mane just tops the average rating, but Mane and Salah the perfect 2 for Liverpool. Yeah, I think they'll go on and win the league. Just pure strength of character. That's why I think they'll go win the league. And last but not least, we look to Man City, 10th in the league. Aguero and Jesus being out's been a big blow. If they don't have that pivot, that main striker, I keep saying pivot. If they don't have that main striker up front, that number 9, it really disrupts the play. Sterling's tried his best, but he's better with his going at players, not running in behind and stuff. De Bruyne, not really up. I don't think he's been off the pace as in such. I just think he's not, like obviously last season before, he's been the best player in the league, and I don't think he's been up to that standard. And obviously the penalty showed against Liverpool, not just saying it because of the penalty, but I really do think he's been off the standard. I watched him Sheffield United away and he had a few misplaced passes and stuff. I just don't think he's up to scratch. Sorry. Yeah, so De Bruyne a bit off the pace. Foden's an interesting one. I thought he started the season very well. I thought he's really going to get a run of fixtures. Then he doesn't start against Liverpool. He hasn't started against Sheffield United. It's a really interesting one. I don't know what Pep. I thought Pep he's going to be his main player, his main attacking midfielder. Or even he's been playing from the left hand side, playing well, especially with Aguero and Jesus out, still in the front, and then he still hasn't been starting. It's a really weird one with Phil Foden. He must be getting frustrated now. For me, they won't finish above Liverpool this season, so I don't think they can win the league. A little shout out to João Cancelo being playing left back. Obviously his normal position's right back, but you can play left back as well. 7.52 average rating over his 7 Premier League game, and he's been Man City's best player. So great start of the season for Cancelo. I just don't think Man City have that fear factor anymore, and that's scary for Guardiola. Right, let's move on to the next form. We start with Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sit 14th after 7 games for themselves in the Premier League. It's been a horrendous start. They've had the worst start at home for many years. 4 games, 1 point, no win. Yeah, in the Champions League they beat Leipzig 5-0 at home. Scratch me that. Yeah, in the Champions League, Man United have looked decent in the first 2 games. PSG away and Leipzig at home, 6 points, you think, and they're absolutely flying. And then they go and get beat by Istanbul Başakşehir. Demba Ba, 35-year-old's got the freedom of the pitch. Scores, gives Istanbul Başakşehir the first ever win in the Champions League. I mean, Ollie out, and then every time Ollie out seems to be a thing, and then he goes and wins at Everton 3-1. It's a great result. He seems to have 9 lives, but it's been a brutal start. 14th in the Premier League for Man United. I mean, where do I think they'll finish this season? I really don't know. I think from the start, if they get into the top 6, good season. I know that's really crazy to say for Man United. I mean, the 2 centre-halves, Maguire and Lindelof, have been absolutely tragic. Little shout out just before I grill Maguire. He was superb against Everton at the weekend. That's the first. He was superb. But before that, they just look like they're going to concede on every attack. I mean, they conceded 6 at home to Tottenham. I mean, it just looks like a disaster waiting to happen. Obviously, I want to shout out Bruno Fernandes for all Man United's poor start. He's had another superb start to the season. 7.65 over 7 games rating is a great return, and he looks like Man United's main player. Well, he is Man United's main player by far. That bit of spark, that bit of creativity. And I just want to touch on Donny van der Beek. When I seen him for Ajax last season in the Champions League, he looks absolutely superb. Runs into the box, creativity, and that he signed someone for 40 million. He just doesn't get it. I just don't see it. They've signed Bruno Fernandes, who come in and took the Premier League by storm, and they play 1 attacking midfield, and then you go and sign another attacking midfielder for 40 million. Don't get it, really don't get it. I feel sorry for Van der Beek. He hasn't been given a chance, but surely he must have looked at the situation and think, where do I fit in this team? I think it was just we want to sign a great player, so we'll just sign him, not thinking of where they'll end up. 7th for Man United, that's where I think we'll finish. 7th, yeah. Brutal. Will Pochettino be in charge by the end of the season? Yes, is my opinion. Now we move to Newcastle United, the other United, Newcastle United. Steve Bruce done an okay job. They're just an okay team. The 13th in the league, Newcastle would take 13th. Weirdest team in the league, Newcastle. You never know what Newcastle are going to turn up. I've watched them 4 home games this season. They beat Burnley and Everton in 2 of them, and they were very good. got beat by Brighton and Man United by 3 goals each time. They're just two different teams. If they're up for it and that, they're okay and stuff, but I don't really know much to say. I don't really enjoy watching them, but they'll survive. They will survive. Steve Bruce is a very, very good manager. He gets results. They'll probably finish 13th, 14th. Little shout out for Callum Wilson. 6 goals in 8 games at a new club. For a team that don't create that many chances, so fair play to Callum Wilson. And last shout out for Carl Darlow. He's top of the average rating. 7.30, and it just shows even though they're 13th in the league, they still have a lot of shots on target. If you watch my videos last season, they have the most shots on target against themselves in the Premier League. So Carl Darlow, top of the rating, doesn't surprise me. But yeah, they'll survive, but not a team I'm really, really interested in watching. Sorry, Newcastle fans. Oh, now we move to another United, Sheffield United. It's been a horrendous start for Sheffield United and Chris Wilder. 8 games, 1.7 defeats, second lowest scorers in the league. Second season syndrome is 100% kicking in for Sheffield United. Out of the last 5 games, they've played Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea and City. It's been really, really tough start. The next 2 games, West Brom and West Ham, home and away, I think will decide if they've got any chance of getting out of relegation trouble. For me, they've just been found out. They just don't have that attacking. They need to be on it 100% every single player every week, and last season they were on it, they were superb, but I just do not see it. John Fleck's been a big miss, he's been out this season, and Jack O'Connell's been a big miss for them this season. Dean Henderson, obviously, I think Ramsdale's a good replacement, not what I've seen. The gap between Henderson and Ramsdale is huge, and it's my mistake for thinking that he could just slot in. Yeah, I think it's down. Like from what I've seen this season, not just because the bottom, I don't see any way of Sheffield United getting out of it this season. The average rating is Ollie McBurney on 6.75. That's your highest average rating over 8 games. It's relegation 100% for Sheffield United and Wilder, unfortunately, because I think Wilder's a great man and a great manager. And last but not least, we move to Southampton and the main man, the absolute don, Ralph Hasenhüttl. Southampton sit 4th in the Premier League. They lost the first 2 games, conceding 5 at home to Tottenham, and you think, I predicted Southampton to finish in the top half this season. Maybe I got this wrong. Not at all. 6 out of the next 6 games have won 5, unbeaten in 6, and sit 4th in the Premier League. Just shout out all the players. Vestergaard, a colossus centre-half. Ward-Prowse, Romeo and Armstrong just in front, beautiful, and Adams and Ings cause all sorts of problems. It's I said it about Brighton last season. These have been by far my favourite team to watch this season. I watched them at home against Newcastle the other night, and the pressing style and football out from the back when they get pressed is absolutely beautiful to watch. I love watching them. Every player knows their position. They know when to press and when to play. The manager is superb. The last 3 home games they've won 2-0. They've won all 2-0, yet didn't concede a goal in the last 3 home games, sit 4th in the league. Absolutely superb. Them and Leicester, the best teams so far in the Premier League. No surprise, we've got 7 players above 7.0 rating. Ward-Prowse, Adams, Vestergaard, but Danny Ings sits top of that league. What a player. Since he stayed fit all last season, he's been unbelievable. Shame Southampton fans, he got injured and he's out for 6 weeks, but Adams stepped up to the plate against Newcastle. Walcott played up front and he actually looked decent. He's been wanting to play up front for the past 10 years and he looked decent. But yeah, Southampton, nothing but praise. Well done Southampton, and well done Ralph Hasenhüttl. And last but not least, we move on to the final four. We start with Tottenham Hotspur. Point off the top with 8 games go. I really think that Tottenham can win the league this season. Like, no jokes, I really do think they can win the league this season. If Kane stays fit through the Premier League season, I think they'll have a great crack at winning it. Just because I don't think the other teams around them are so strong, and Tottenham have got stronger. Second highest scorers in the league. Son's joint top scorer with 8 goals. Kane's been involved in 15 goal involvements in just 8 games. I mean, he's absolutely superb. He's also the highest rated, average rated. He's the highest rated player in the average rating in the whole of the Premier League. 8.39 average rating in 8 games is absolutely unbelievable. Little shout out. I think they've got cover like right back Doherty and Aurier, great players. Left back Reguilon and Ben Davies. You know what I mean? I think Højbjerg's come in. I think Højbjerg's a good player, but I wasn't thinking, he's a great signing. But I think he's been really good centre midfield. Bale's coming in. Hopefully he gets himself fully fit, and Bale, Son and Kane. What a front three that is. I honestly think that they can go and win the league. I think if they do, I think it's Jose Mourinho's greatest achievement. I know he won the Champions League with Porto and things, and that's an unbelievable achievement. But I think if he wins over 38 games with Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Chelsea, all the money that's in the Premier League, I think if he goes and wins the league with Tottenham, it'll be his greatest achievement. And I think he could. It's Liverpool are the ones stopping them, but I really think they'll be very, very close to winning the title if Kane stays fit. But yeah, what a start for Tottenham, 1 point off top. Great start. And can they do it? Let me know in the comments if you think Tottenham can go and win the league this season. Next up, we move to West Bromwich Albion. No wins, sit 18th in the league. It's just relegation for me. Sorry, West Brom fans, Slaven Village. The thing is with West Brom as well, I don't think they're just going to get like tortured every game. Like they're not going to get like fully battered and stuff. They're going to stay in games, but they've got nothing up front that can convince me that they can go score enough goals in the Premier League. I think Pereira's a good player. I think the Grant is an okay player. He's a good Championship player, but nothing that can tell me that they'll go score enough goals that will keep them up. No players above 7 in the average rating. No wins out of the first 8 games. Nothing can convince me that can go score enough goals that'll keep them up. Sorry, West Brom fans, but it's definitely relegation for me. West Ham, let's move on to West Ham United. After a poor start, they sit 12th in the league, and I think it's a great response from David Moyes and his players. I mean, obviously, we've seen a lot of people tip West Ham to go down. I thought they'd finish about 12th, and I think they will finish about 12th. Antonio is a big miss up front. Him and Haller, just two very different type of players. Haller, he can hold the ball up and win headers and stuff, but Antonio's pace, power, he's just in your face all the time, never gives you a minute rest, gets you up the pitch. Antonio's top rated in the average rating for West Ham, and I think, like I said, he's a huge miss. Little shout out to Jared Bowen. I think he's been very good since he's come in last January from Hull City, and I think he's a good player for West Ham United. Declan Rice and Souček, two sitting midfielders, have been very good, but West Ham's player of the season so far for me has been Aaron Cresswell in a 3-5-2. Plays left centre half, delivery superb, up and down the pitch, overlaps the wing back and gets deliveries in the box. I think Aaron Cresswell's been superb, and he's been my best player for West Ham this season. I think they'll finish mid-table, comfortably safe, not like other people think. And last but not least, we move to Wolverhampton Wanderers, who sit 9th. It's been an average start. They've scored 8 goals in just 8 games. Absolutely boring to watch. Sorry, Wolves fans. I'd love to know if there's any Wolves fans watch this. Get in the comments below, please. How boring have Wolves become? I used to love watching Wolves last season. Me and my friend Liam were talking about it in midweek. Traore makes no sense that he's not playing. He just gets them up the pitch. He gives them attacking a 10. Last season, Jota, Traore and Jimenez, they were so fluent, so good to watch, pace, power. Now they just want to be in games and win 1-0. They're so boring. Neto and Semedo 7.18 at the joint highest average rating players for Wolves this season. Little shout out to Connor Cody, broke into the England squad in that holding sitting as the middle centre half of 3-5-2. Fair play to Connor Cody. For breaking into the England squad. But yeah, just Wolves, not a team I enjoy watching. Yeah, they'll never be out of games and they'll pick up points and stuff. For me, they won't finish in the top 7, and not a team I enjoy watching this season. Sorry, Wolves fans, but because I used to love watching you last season. But yeah, Nuno Espirito Santo, not a team that I enjoy watching. Right, so that's my early season review. Let me know in the comments, have I got anything right? Have I missed anything? Please hit that like and subscribe button. Just a little note, I've created a Twitter for my official The Lewis Pickman Football Show. I'll leave it in the link below. If you're on Twitter, just go give me a follow. I'm going to be posting all my videos on there. And when there's like matches live on telly and stuff, I'll be commenting and stuff, what I think's going to happen in the games and stuff. Just a bit different. I've nearly hit 100 subscribers. I was going to wait till 100 subscribers, but I've already done it. I'm at 93. So if you're not subscribed and you've seen my video, please hit that subscribe button. No international break, like I said, this week. So tomorrow, make sure you catch my video tomorrow. It's going to be the best 11. This video's gone on for so long, so I'm going to do my best 11 in a separate video tomorrow. This has been the Lewis Pickman Football Show. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Follow my Twitter. Catch you on the next time. Bye.